Here we go, it's West London VR Race 6.5 on the Fifield H1010 crit course. Now, 16.2 kilometres, elevation only 90 metres, that's not a lot. I'm Dave Morrison, this is West London VR, this is race 6.5 coming to you live and direct on Facebook. So, what have we got in play? There's several ways you can win a series in this, there's several classifications, and at the moment Nick Greenhalgh is leading in the general classification, only just from Matt Hammond, both from Ratio Racing there, and Jan van Oudenaarde is in third place. Ned Bowen from Chicago fourth. Doug Hart, who's put in some great performances, just ahead of John Samet from Staffordshire. Kamil Walagora from Moon Riders. Wouter Clays way down in eighth, unfamiliar territory for him. Johan Arhen in ninth. James Melville, Alison McAlpine 10th and 12th for Glasgow United, and Andrew Gower for Twickenham in 11th place. Liam Bard and Stephen Brearley making out the 14 that we've got on screen. Looking at the team classification, Ratio Racing, and remember Nick and Matt, both from Ratio Racing, dominating at the top. No Pins 3R will mount a challenge, and Moon Riders should never, ever be discounted. Great to see Glasgow United and Watford Velo in 4th and 5th, two local clubs supported by local riders in their respective areas, making up 4th and 5th. Really good showing from those two. In the Ladies' League, Caroline Reuter is ahead. She's had 4 races. Judith Newton only 3. Remember that 6 best races count here, so the number of races does have an impact, but the pecking order is on points at the moment. Wendy Wondervilles Gallagher from Down Under riding for RIAC. Daniel Gawn in 4th for West London. Holly Larson from the USA 5th. Lisa West from Twickenham in 6th. Laura Whittingham, Jacine Juncker and more. Now then, we have the ladies' teams too. RIAC very dominant at the moment. West London the nearest rivals. The interesting one in the ladies will be how well Ellen Lockett does. Not sure if she signed in tonight or not, but Ellen Lockett has missed a lot of races for West London and is lower down, and you'll see in 22nd in the ladies' league at the moment. So let's go over and see what's happening on the start line as we go into December Christmas party time. 89 riders on the line at the moment. There's 1 minute 50 odd seconds to start. See Hayes Dave, Stevie Cooper in there, Maria Witsky, Maurice Wouter Clays in there, Wendy Wonderwheels we know is there, Matthias Bergqvist in there, Peter Sibley for Watford Velo as well, Gilmore, Jabor, plenty more people in there. Gail Robinson I see for Twickenham as well. So a lot of the usual faces in there as the numbers go up. We're on to 91 riders at the moment. Hopefully we'll just get over 100. We shall see in a moment. Now this course is a real life racing course, crit racing. It's a 10-mile circuit. It's probably used more for time trials, to be honest. 10-mile time trials, 16 kilometres, but it is a crit course as well, so you can do longer races by going round twice. Slightly undulating. You can see the profile at the bottom, and in the middle there the two brown sections are the two climbs. Where it goes blue are more descents, so it's slightly undulating but nothing too tough, and I suspect that longish brown patches before halfway will probably be the scene of most attacks. 46 seconds to the start. We're on about 91 riders, so probably not going to top the 100 on this occasion. No doubt the Christmas party season affecting some people's ability to attend here, as we see Doug Hart's in there, and Alistair McAlpine, Gower for Twickenham as well, Lisa West for Twickenham. So I think most of the regulars are here, and we look forward to it. 19 seconds to go. This will be a fast start, remember, as they always are, and it's reasonably flat at the start as we go down Drift Road. If you know the area at all, this is Fifield, just southwest of London, or probably more west than southwest, near Windsor, and they're off. That's the start, and we see them piling towards. Oh, look at that, somebody right off the front from the get-go. They'll probably be caught fairly soon, but you need to be quick off the mark to get away, and you can see people who've missed the flying off the line there already in trouble. Now what happens next over the next I would say 50 to 75 metres will be that the front peloton is likely to form. and we watch from the aerial view of this just how straggled this is. This is really stretched out. We're looking further back at the moment. These are positions nearer the back. I see some of the lady riders in there. So this, as I say, this is the people off the back already. We'll have a look in a minute to see what's happening at the front. And Caretin Italian is off the front in the yellow. Vandenberg, I see Lewis Francis for Watford is in there. Peter Sibley also for Watford in there, putting up a good showing. Ben Phillips in there, Mark Morris, and who else have we got? Doug Hart, I see. And as you can see, this front peloton now just forming. Wadagora in there for Moon Riders, one of the top 10. Matthias Bergqvist in there too. These are names you'd expect to see, and it's now. I think this will consolidate itself for a little while, but you can see there's a big gap. You can see that group up there, and you can see how these mini pelotons form as we look a bit further back now. I don't think that's the front group at the front of your screen. I think that's probably the second group, and you can see people behind just struggling to get into little groups. Now you want to be in one of those groups, trying to work together with everybody else, and as I say, you can see this isn't the first group, and the people just behind are probably getting left behind now because they're not getting the benefit of the draft, and these two little subgroups, two and one forming into three. Nick Greenhalgh in third place at the moment, Doug Hart in there, and this is Byron Harding I see in there too, Stevie Cooper, Peter Sibley, Paul Hinson in there too, and we're looking at, I'm guessing, around about 30 riders in this group. So that's basically what's going to take up the first, and this is the second group, and they go down to about number 50. So I'm guessing around 21, 22 riders in this group. In Sudbury in there, I see Tim Cummins. Who else is in there? Matthias Bergqvist. Sorry, this is the front group now, isn't it? So we've got Simon Hall for Watford. He's in 12. So this is the second group. From about 12. So I'm a little bit. I'm just trying to work out the numbers here. No, this is the front group. In fact, actually, sorry, I'm getting this slightly wrong. I'm looking at the side, looking at the numbers, and realising that actually, if you look in the group, this is the front group. Tim Cummins in there. I see Simon Hall in there for Watford Velo. So maybe the group's bigger than I first thought. So as you can see here, Doug Hart. So maybe that group's bigger than my first expectations. We'll have to take a little look at that. Simon Hall from Watford, I had the pleasure of meeting on Saturday. Just accidentally, both went to the, well, I say accidentally, both went to the same cycling event, ended up parking right by each other and got talking. And it was quite interesting to listen to Simon about some of the other riders from Watford Velo. So got a bit more inside knowledge for some of those right now. And we should talk about those more later. But Peter Sibley, Lewis Francis, of course, and Jack Samway's been the main riders for Watford. So this is the front group. Cardiff Gurgel, the New Zealand Norwegian, in pole position, well, second position after Caretin, the Italian, in the yellow at the moment, as this group pulls away. Something like 50 riders in it. So as I say, when we were looking earlier, and I thought we were looking at the second group, it is in fact part of this group. So this group is larger than I thought, at around 50 riders. We've got 92 online, so there's 40 stranded at the back, and at the moment they don't look like they're dropping too many people. This looks like tightly held, but you're beginning to see those breaks off the front. And what this does, Doug Hart for Pedalers, renowned for doing this, and Rasmus Feldball. Now, these guys are renowned for these breaks off the front. And what they do, they quite often don't get away, but they do stretch the peloton behind them and people fall off the back. If you fall off the back of a peloton, you're in trouble. You've always got to wait for the next one. Now, as we say, there's 50 riders-ish in this group, and we are expecting several subgroups behind, because we saw from the outset, from the aerial camera shot, that the people out of this 50 group, so there's three of them up front now. Jorgen van Beurs has joined, and you see here this is 50th place, and you can see it's not quite as packed and coordinated at the back. This is good from Serena Race there for Riak in 55th. She'll be quite pleased with that, because she is in a little group that seems to be ahead of the other ladies, I would guess. And we look Laura Whittingham in this group, Caroline Reuter in this 56 group. So it looks like Serena Race has got herself into a group up the road from these ladies, Caroline Reuter, Laura Whittingham in there, and they're slightly back. I'm guessing this is slightly, yes, there's something like a 70 metre gap between the two groups. Rob Shields in there too, Lisa West 63rd for Twickenham CC, Mariah Witzke is in there for the Puerto Rican side. Who else can we see in here? Gavin Grant from Twickenham in this particular little group here. And just looking down the list, Brett Smith, there's two West London jerseys in there. I see one is Brett Smith. I'm trying to work out who the other one might be. We should come back to you on that one. Dave Hayes is in there from Scotland, I see. And nice little group. This will be working together, and they're probably, you can see the difference between 59th with Laura Whittingham up the road in the same group as Serena Race. Then there's something like 100 metres gap, so it looks like Laura Whittingham and Serena Race are probably going to take pole position for the ladies, unless one of the ladies is in this front group of 50. Now this front group in 50 is now 90 metres behind Kaja Gurgel, and this is not unknown for Kaja to do this, but 90 metres is a big gap. 5.4 metres gone, and they kilometres gone, sorry, 10 to go, so they're about a third of the way through the course. And if you look at the bottom of the screen, you can see the blobs. These are the little groups. The big blob is whatever one we're on, so it's the front group at the moment. You can see it's the big blob is slightly behind the little solo one of Kaja Gurgel. And I think what you are probably all going to have to anticipate next is this little brown section on the profile at the bottom. They're about to hit that, and whether or not Kaja can make that gap stick is going to be very telling, and also whether people drop out of this. Now, Briley for no pins is coming out now, doing a bit of a chase, and realising that you can't let Kaja go that far ahead, pulls it down a little bit. The gap's under 100 metres now. A few others just following him. Aron and Kotsi, the Slovenian in their Wouter Clays. This is breaking up the group though. They're on the they're on the bottom of that climb. This is where the attacks is. Briley for no pins is really pushing ahead there. John Sammut for Poker Motion, Van Ordenard as well. So this is where the attack is happening. This will fragment that top 50. Whether it comes out at 30 or 40 riders, we'll have to wait and see. Kaja getting caught, but he's done the right thing, because he's made sure that he will be in that selection post the hill. Now he's over the hill. John Sammut leading the charge to catch up, but just look how strung out that is. That hill has done the damage. Let's see who's dropped off and who can get back on, as this will undoubtedly, I suspect, which is a contradiction of terms, but I think it'll undoubtedly reform into another group peloton. Ned Bowen up there in third. That's good for Ned. I mean, he usually likes to sit in the group, but he's gone with a break, which is uncharacteristic, but probably not a bad move at this point. I don't think this group can stay out for another 9 kilometres. I think it will get caught. So let's see what happens. But 3 of them out the front with a 30-odd metre advantage over Nick Greenhouse leading the chase. Horacio Racing with Wouter Clays just behind him for Moon Riders. Lewis Francis there we see is on his own, but just trying to get on somebody else's wheel. This is the fragmentation, and you can see on your screen the little group in the centre. I see that Will Brown's in there as well with Peter Sibley from Watford. That little group has probably been separated from the others. We shall have to see. As we look further back, Wendy Wonderwheels riding for React this season is with Brett Smith, Dave Hayes in this particular little group, which is 62nd, or perhaps not 62nd, 63rd onwards. There's a slight gap up to Gilmore, who is solo. You can see up the road there, and Serena Race. Now then, if Serena Race has been dropped, that gives Wendy Wonderwheels a chance to catch her in the ladies' competition. So here we have Maria Witzke, who I know has got a bit of a back strain at the moment, and probably shouldn't be riding, but didn't want to miss it. So she's out out on the road anyway. 71st, we've still got 90 riders online, and Maria doing quite well actually. Lisa West here with Gavin Grant, the Danielle Gaunt just coming up to the take Lisa's wheel. Now Lisa and Gavin both from Twickenham, so they probably work together. So we look here at some of the show. Simon Hall in there, as I say, met him on Saturday for the first time face to face, had a good chat in the car park, and I have to say Simon, I'm not sure how much he's got left, but he towed about, I don't know, a dozen of us for about 70 kilometres in a 200 kilometre ride. So the first 70 kilometres we all sat on Simon's wheel, so he did very well on Saturday, and I'm not sure whether that's going to take its toll tonight. He's not in this front group though, and we see this front group down to about 20 riders now. So the hill did the damage. We're only going one lap here today, so there's not a second attack. That hill has done the damage, which is what we thought would happen. And we see the second group here. I assume it's the second group. There's somebody in no man's land in between. Yeah, that's Coates and 20. See, going back here, Lewis Francis way back 100 metres ahead of the 20 group here. So there's a big gap. They're 100 metres off anybody in front of them. Andre Krajewski there, Peter Sibley for Watford. I see Paul Hinson in there, and plenty of other big names. But up ahead, there's a group that includes some of the big hitters, including this. Well, this is the big hitters group now, I think, this front 20. This is where it's going to be decided. Jared Miller in there now, pushing off the front, taking a bit of a break there. It's Wouter Claes who's following him for Moon Riders. I don't think that one's going to stick. Archer Girdhill closing that down, and the peloton just behind chasing, but it's dropped another couple of riders off that group. Once again, Stuart Brearley in there for No Pins 3RI, Alistair McAlpine at 11th. But look at this. This is an elite group going off the front. 6 kilometres to go. Rasmus Feldball, who likes to break, being caught by Doug Hart, another guy who likes to go out on the front. So I think this is probably going to do some damage off the back, but I don't think it will shake off the big names. Hodges in there for the USA. Putting up a bit of a show too. Look how strung out that is though. This is going to do damage. This is going to... Now, well, I really did think this race was going to be a sprint finish, and it may turn out to be, but not as big a sprint finish as I think I predicted. That is real selection there. You are seeing this breaking up, and some people are going to be out of contention way before the finish. 6 kilometres still to go. Jared Miller on the front, VRM there. Stuart Brearley, No Pins, Hodges, Hart, Cesson, Wallagora, as you'd expect for Moon Riders, Jared Miller, Rasmus Feldby, Wouter Claes in there. Wouter Claes not as high up the rankings as you'd expect to see him this time round, so a good points haul for Wouter would be good here. Just trying to see, there is a red kit in there, which I assume is Ned Bowen, and so I don't think all the big hitters are necessarily in this group. We'll have to have a check when we next get a chance to look at Group 2. But this is a very strung out field, and if you look down the bottom of the screen and you look at all the white dots along the profile, just look at the distance between that big blob of the front group and the people at the back. Will Brown here, this is Group 2. Will Brown has a very good season. Lewis Francis will be disappointed to be back in that group. Byron Hardin for OTR in there too. Who else have we got in there? Peter Sibley. Again, he'll be disappointed. But this is a strong group. This is a strong group. And bear in mind that you're going to finish in the top 25-30 if you are in this group. We've still got 89 riders online. So these are going to be good points hauls for these riders. And they need to work together just to make sure that this group isn't caught by the one behind it. The one behind it, which Lewis Francis is in about 100 metres, I think, behind. So they've got a quite good, comfortable gap of 5 kilometres to go. Lewis Francis on his own, I didn't realise that. He will be very disappointed with that. I don't know whether something like a power cut has happened there. Gareth Twickenham will be quite pleased with that, but they need to get that little group together, I think, and work together. Tim Cummins just off there at 32nd, chasing Jorgen van Beurs and Byron Harding behind him. These guys would probably do quite well. Simon Hall in there again for Watford with Byron Harding from OTR. Matt Feely at 35th. That's a pretty good position. Love Matt, the Irish rider. Been with us for so long. Gautam Thakkar, my good friend, in 32nd, just sitting on those wheels. And I think Gautam will be absolutely delighted with that if he can hold on to it. And there's quite a big gap back to Hulbert, Ian Sudby, and who else have we got in there? Ollie Sutherland. So this is quite a big gap here. This is a very, very strung out field, and the dots on the bottom of your screen absolutely reinforce that notion. Connolly for Watford in that particular group. So going up to the front, it's names you'd expect. This is full-on racing. This is taking no prisoners whatsoever. This is not quite the race I expected it to be. This is far more strung out than I thought it would be. I thought we would have much more of a bunch on this, but I think the damage has been done by the guys off the front, and this is a tactic we're seeing more and more in these races. Now, there are a couple of little sort of light brown bits on the profiles. Yeah, Miller takes it off the front again. If you... I don't think that those hills are quite big enough, but I think there is a possibility we lose a couple more people off the back of these groups when we hit those two slightly sort of brownish sections just coming up a little bit later. We've got 3.5 kilometres to go. We're getting into the business end of the race, so it is going to just get more and more exciting. Alistair McAlpine off. Oh, now Alistair would expect to be off the front. But I think the attritional, Walligora as well. This is really shedding some of the contenders. These are big names getting dropped here. Will they get caught by the next group? This will be good for people like Will Brown, Peter Sibley, Andrei Krajewski, Kopse in there, the Slovenian as well, Paul Hinson. These people will benefit if they can catch some of these other riders. Briley for no pins up there. As we look at the front group again, Carja Girlhill off the front. Well, such Clay's chasing. But once again, just look how stretched it is. Everybody fighting to stay in the group. And this is so attritional. It's really the opposite of the race that I was expecting. Rasmus Feldbull off the front at the moment. Doug Hart with one of his characteristic pushes off the front. This really is, I should imagine, if you're the back of this group, you're fighting to stay on. Sesson in there, the Italian. And just look at this. Aaron now, one of the contenders up the front, dropped off again, 15th. This is hard. This is hard racing. Alistair McAlpine, as we've already said, riding solo. This is not easy to ride solo in these races. Wouter Clay is just going off the front, 2.5 to go. I don't think anybody's going to get a solo win from this position. But as you can see, a couple of riders on the back just having to fight very, very hard. And if you get distanced, it's very hard to catch up, and the guys on the front are absolutely pushing this. Nick Greenhalgh in there. We see this is going to be an all-star finish, but there's not going to be many of them. Will it be the sprint that I have been thinking all week we were going to get? No, I don't think it will be. I think this will be stretched at the finishing line. But it's a case now of who's got anything left after all these big efforts. This has been absolutely phenomenal racing. To whittle it down like they have, I think just tells you how hard this has been as a race. Riding at around 40 kph, and this is not really, I mean, all right, slowed down a little bit there. They're on a plus 2.8 gradient. This is the little hill I was talking about. Ned Bowen in there. You see, on that little gradient, we see two riders slightly off the back there, which cuts it down even more. We might be down to a dozen riders at the finish. 1.75 kilometres to go, and you can see the riders off the back are probably not going to get back on because it's going to be full on to the finish now. There's a downhill just before the finish, and you can see at least one rider has fallen off the back. Sesson 13th is probably Matthias Bergqvist, who's fallen off the back. It's not impossible to get on, and he looks like he might actually be closing it. But look at the effort. 45 kph. Well, that's absolutely phenomenal. Well done, Matthias. That was absolutely brilliant to get back on there. 46 kph. I doubt if Matthias will have much left at the finish. We're coming up to the Flamme Rouge with 1.3 kilometres to go. Absolutely amazing for Matthias to get back on there. So 14 riders are going to contest this first place at the end. I don't know who my money's on, and because I don't know who's got anything left. And Ned Bowen is being distanced, and now Ned very much is, he's a final few metre sprinter, and if he's getting dropped there, he's not going to be in that final few metres. I think Ned is out of it. Rasmus Feldball and Doug Hart are the people going off the front. This is not untypical. John Sammut with them. I think it's between those three. Kaja Girlhill catching up. Wouter Clay's in there. It all comes together, so it's going to be closer than I first thought. Sesson at the back here as they round down. 700 metres to go. Gurgel, it's anybody's at the moment. It might be that sprint finish I thought it was going to be. A couple of the no-pins riders in there. 570 metres to go. It's all to play for. And Jared Miller going off the front now. Kaja Gurgel putting in a dig. I don't think this is going to be indicative of who's going to be on the finishing line. If you can stay in this group, and it looks like it is going to stay together more or less, it's going to be who's got the legs left. It's Kaja Gurgel, John Sammut and Wouter Clays. These are names you expect. Doug Hart off the front as again typical, and Doug Hart absolutely leading this with Wouter Clays and Kaja Gurgel. And look at Sesson coming up from the back there for ADR. But it's enough. It's Hodges, the American, who's taken the lead. But Sesson do it? I think it was Sesson that just took that for ADR. Nick Greenhouse picking up third. Bergqvist fourth. Rasmus Feldball in fifth place. Van Oudenaarde in sixth. Kaja Gurgel seventh after all that work. John Sammut. James Melville, who we've hardly mentioned today for Glasgow United, still in there and taking that ninth spot. Lewis Francis, I think it was just under there in 10th, if I'm right. And that was a good result for Lewis, I have to say. CE coming in at 16th. Wouter Clay's 11th. Be disappointed with that. Doug Hart at 12th. Jared Miller and Ned Bowen, Arlen, all 15th, 16th. Lewis Francis was 19th. As I say, Jorgen van der Berg there too. And these are people coming in now, 17th. You see the little sprints that we get here. One of the Moon Riders, it's Simons for Moon Riders, possibly just taking that one ahead of Lewis Francis in the end, who got 20th for Watford Velo. Andrew Krajewski of Moon Riders is after that. Alison Cowpoint coming in coming up soon, so 29th here. Jorgen van Beurs, Reed for Pedalers, all fighting this one out. Gower from Twickenham. Gower from Twickenham is having a good season in this. Can he get Jorgen van Beurs on the line? He goes for it. Oh, that was close. And I think he just did it. Absolutely excellent. Byron Harding and Tim Cummins coming up now. Tim pushing out hard now. I think Tim is a strong rider. Byron not having any of that though. He's fighting back with 100 metres to go. And I think Byron looks like he's just got Tim, but don't discount Tim yet. He is a strong rider. He goes for it, but doesn't quite make it. Byron taking 31st position there. Daniel from Ersart just pulling away from Simon Hall, the Watford Velo rider that we mentioned earlier. And Simon is probably not going to contest that one. And he can blame towing the rest of us for 70 kilometres on Saturday morning around the 200k ride that we all did. As another Watford Velo rider here. Oh, look at him going around the edge, Connolly. But he doesn't quite make that one. I don't think it was Ollie who took that one on the line. Marcin Struderek and Matt Feely in this one. Gautam Thakkar taking third in that. In Sotheby in this little one. These little sprints are great, and this is what we like. This is what we talk about, the natural selection. You end up in a group of riders with similar ability, so you get a proper sprint at the end to say this. I'm just looking at the results there. The results coming up suggest that Brian Hodges took that from Sesson. It was very, very close on the line. And I did at first think that Sesson had taken that, but no, it looks like Brian Hodges was the winner, so we have to correct that one. Nick Greenhouse, as we assume, taking third. Another one of these little personal sprints, which are great fun. Azilarde from Twickenham, I think is new. I don't remember that on Twickenham before. Coney is coming up next after that one. And Coney, again, another new rider, I think. Kuhlmann, the German, after that. Pales from Britain, Postal, all coming up. Now, I think for 52nd, we're going to have another one of these little battles. We look at the results down the side there, and Wouter Clays and Doug Hart, 11th and 12th. Very disappointing for them. They were in that bunch, but just getting edged out at the end as Kuhlmann, the German, coming in for 51st place. Probably about another 25 to 30 riders to come in after this. Gasper Course, Ben Phillips for Ratio 18th, Lorenzo Simons 19th, Lewis Francis at 20th in the end. I thought he was 19th earlier. So now we're starting to get some of the lady riders coming. Caroline Reuter, and I think Caroline is going to be the first lady. And it's in her interest to beat some of these guys on the line, because the more men you beat, the more points you get in the ladies' race. And Caroline is pushing hard for this. She's going to be pushed all the way, though. Here she goes. She's out of the saddle. Oh, look at that. Well done, Caroline. What a finish. And she grabbed herself probably 3 extra points in the ladies' league by beating those 3 guys. Tom Alsop coming in 56th now. Absolutely fantastic finish from Caroline Reuter. I have to say that was good. Riak will be delighted with that. And here we have Laura Whittingham as well in the ladies, not quite beating HT to the line, so losing a point there. Hayes Dave coming in there. Serena Ace, another Riak rider coming in there, and I think they're going to pick up big points in the ladies' league to edge away again from West London. Wendy Wonderwheels, another Riak rider, coming in now, 600 metres to go in 65th position. Haven't spotted where all the West London lady riders are. I know not all of them might have made it. I know Daniel Gaunt was definitely in there, wasn't she? So we'll have a look at that a little bit later. And we'll see some more results coming up shortly. Just to confirm there, Byron Harding was 31st. Tim Cummins just pipped there at 32nd. Eremia Daniel was 33rd. Simon Hall, Watford, 34th. Ollie, James Connolly, another Watford rider. Inju Nitram, 37th. Marty Hubert, Marcin Schluderek, 39th, pipping my good friend and mate Gautam Thakkar into 40th place there. Wendy Wonderwheels, Riak rider from Down Under, coming in next. And we have Lau Mai and A Walker coming in, and El Reyna as well in the rather colourful top, it has to be said. And who we got here? Ferris and Ree coming in for 69th and 70th position. Still probably got another 20 riders to finish off this. So these are good points positions all the same. So and there will be decent points tonight with slightly under 100 riders. The people at the end will get better points than they would have done when we go over 100 riders. So this will be a good race for picking up points for everybody. Ferris being quite dominant, 69th position. Looks like it's going to be his. Oh, can Ray do anything about this? Probably not. 200 metres to go. The distance doesn't look like it's closing, but Rie is putting up a bit of a fight. 136 metres to go, closing the gap, but the finishing line is going to come too soon. And I think we're going to finish up with about 85 riders to go. Gavin Grant here with Lisa West and Daniel Gaunt. So I think Daniel is the first of the West London riders to come home. So Riak dominating in the teams. Daniel putting in some effort there, but Gavin Grant just trying to deny her some points on behalf of Lisa West. Daniel having to suffer losing a point there. Carlos Mendes, sorry, Mendes, not Carlos at all, is it? Caroline Mendes, is it? I think, I can't remember. Crystal Mendes. I've completely forgotten, but another one of the Riak riders, and apologies for the forgetting the names. I did stand there with Simon Hall in the car park before the cycling event on Saturday, apologising that I have to try and remember everybody's first names, and I don't always get it right, but there we are. Riak absolutely been dominant in the ladies competition today. Gail Robinson is just behind, 150 metres behind, and a long way behind her, Maria Vitsky. I think Maria is going to be the possibly the second West London lady, as Mendes comes in now for Riak. Riak have already wrapped up their points. It's the first two ladies who take the points. Gail Robinson finishing behind Lisa West today, but I think the second Twickenham lady. So Twickenham probably doing slightly better than West London in this race. And Maria yet to come in. Here's Maria now, the Puerto Rican, riding with West London, as well as her own local club, the GACT there. And I won't try and pronounce it because it needs a Spanish accent, which I don't particularly do well. And after that, we've got Van der Laan, and who else have we got? Jose Espinosa will be 81st. He is Maria's other half, as it happens, also Puerto Rican, riding for West London. Jessica Wright at 82nd, also to come in, West London riders. Well done, Maria. And here we have Butler coming in at 78th. I'm not sure about the first name. Eltar, again, German flag. I'm not sure of the first name, so I can't say too much about that one. Van der Laan, I should know the first name of, but don't. So another great finish there, finishing in about 30 minutes, which is not bad on a 10-mile time trial course. On one of these, it's I think anything under 30 is respectable in real life on this course. It does have the slight undulations which make it perhaps a slower 10-mile time trial course than some of the other local courses, but it is what it is. 30 minutes or thereabouts, quite respectable, and the first riders probably sort of 8 minutes before that. Jose Espinosa from Puerto Rico now just enjoying the ride to the finish. He's got 500 meters as we go past the sign. I'm telling you that it's the Fifield course. As I say, Drift Road, and anybody local to that area will be very familiar with Drift Road because it is a road for racers and slightly undulating. It's not the easiest. They're not hard hills, but at race speed, some of the undulations on it can catch you out a little bit. But it is what it is. So anyway, we've got Valigora. Think has had a tech. We're looking at the 85th position there. Valigora from Moon Riders was up there. Know what's coming out there, so that suggests a Technic there. I see Jessica and well done Jose for finishing. I see Jessica and Lisa. Lisa's got COVID at the moment, or has had COVID all week, so I'm a little bit surprised to see her, but well done Lisa for coming out. Jessica just ahead of her by 500 metres, and Batista, and we have Valigora quite clearly stuck there with the mechanical, which will be quite a blow because he was very much one of the top riders. Jessica goes through the Flamme Rouge, and great to see her. She'll enjoy being 500 metres ahead of Lisa. Lisa less happy about it, I'm sure, but they're great friends, of course, and everybody on the little WhatsApp group for the West London ladies wishing each other well before we started. So I think Jessica will be very, very pleased with this performance. 32 minutes, and that will be good for her. I think she'll be very, very pleased with herself. As I say, Lisa and Jessica has had a few little things going on at the moment, which haven't meant that she's been able to ride as much as she would like. Lisa, as I say, has had COVID, so people getting out of a sick bed to do this just shows how determined people are to do well, and well rewarded here for Jessica as well. So absolutely brilliant show as we go over the Ladies League motif on the road there as she picks up more points in her Ladies League quest. And as I say, with less than 100 riders in the mix today, we're going to get something like 84 finishers, I think, as Lisa takes the Flamme Rouge. And as I say, with 84 finishers, these are going to be good points for the ladies in the general classification. Jessica's just pushing it up there, 51 kph. Oh, she is. Whatever little illnesses she's had recently, well and truly over. She's pushing out at 50 kph as she comes up to the finish. Tremendous finish, well done, and she's pushed it out to 700 metres plus ahead of Lisa. So well done, Jessica. Absolutely phenomenal finish. Lisa now in no danger of losing places. She's going to beat Batista comfortably, I think, there. 600 metres to go. Lisa has been around with these races since we very, very first started them. In fact, some of the very early ones, probably before we kind of really formulated this series, Lisa was there, and she's been a part of all this for, as I say, since the beginning. We're in our third year now. She's a very important person to all of this, and we love seeing her in the races. She comes from a very good sporting cycling family as well, so it's all about bikes in Lisa's house, and they all do a bit of swimming and running and things like that as well. So very competitive. Lisa putting in 50 kph now. Of course, in fairness, it is slightly downhill to the finish, but we won't let those sorts of facts get in the way of the fact that it's a phenomenal finish, and it will make you feel good, wouldn't it, coming downhill and racing through that finishing line like that. So that's Lisa. We've got kilometres to go back to Batista, who just comes through the who's just coming through the Flamme Rouge. Walagora, clearly nothing happening there. There's no. If you look at 85th place, there is no traction at all. No watts per kilogram. 86th place, you can ignore. That's filming it. So it's just Batista for Brazil coming through. No doubt, probably enjoying Brazil's progress in the Football World Cup or Soccer World Cup if you're from the USA. So I suppose I don't know. I think there's no football tonight. I might be wrong. I'm not really following it. So I think there's no distractions at the moment. But I don't think Batista's done one of our races before, so it's great to see them joining in, riding not for a team, and we do get Brazilians in this, but I don't think the time difference suits them perfectly. So it's very nice to have a Brazilian in the race once again. So I'm sure actually I'll have to check, but certainly another addition to the Ladies League, and not a bad haul really, because even in last place you're going to take 16-17 points at this sort of finish, and there have been races with over 100 where riders have got less. When I say 16-17 points, that is beefed up a little bit depending on where the first lady finished, so it's very difficult to predict this till we look at the results afterwards. Coming up to the finishing line, and another great finish. To wrap up race 6.5, we'll be back in 2 weeks' time on the 21st of December. Brian Hodges for the USA beating Moreno Sesson into second place, and I think just on the WhatsApp group, Jessica Wright saying how tough it was today. Matthias Bergqvist third, Nick Greenhouse fourth. He'll be pleased with that in his quest for the championship, because he's beaten most of the other contenders up there. Rasmus Feldball fifth, Jan van Ordenard in sixth, Nigel Gunnar seventh, Stephen Brearley eighth, James Melville for Glasgow United, Pippin John Samet from Poker Motion ahead of Walter Glaze 11th. Be slightly disappointed with that. Doug Hart again will be disappointed with 12th, but it was a very fast sprint finish. Jared Miller up there from Hertfordshire in Britain, 13th. Ned Bowen 14th, just getting caught out. He was in a good position in that sprint thing, but it just went a bit too fast, a bit too far out, and he wasn't in the mix, because Ned is an expert at nipping out at the end and taking a win. Johan Aaron 15th, Chris E 16th, Gasper Coxe 17th, Ben Phillips from Ratio beat Lorenzo Simons. Lewis Francis from Watford in 20th position ahead of Andre Krzyzewski, the Pole living in Manchester, who beat David Stewart just, and Paul Hinson also almost on the same time as David Stewart there. That must be very, very close. Jure van der Berg, Alistair McAlpine, Peter Sibley from Watford, Will Brown from Wesley, Andrew Gower from Twickenham, Jorgen van Bert 29th, Jez Reed from Pedalers 30th, Byron Hardin OTR rider 31st, Tim Cummins from Wesley 32nd. Tim having a good season, didn't quite make that sprint against Byron though. Aramia Daniel, Simon Hall from Watford, my car park buddy in 34th, Ollie 35th, James Connolly, another Watford rider at 36th. Watford actually putting up some great results here today and throughout the season as it happens. Nitram 37th, Marty Hilbert 38th, Martin Schulerek from Wrocław in Poland, Pippin my mate Goten Thackar for 40th. If you want to check out all the results, they'll all be on www.westlondoncycling.com very, very shortly, if not already, and later on there will be a report and lots more. You can watch the video back on Facebook if you want, and eventually we'll get it up on YouTube for you too. Thanks for watching. As ever, the West London VR community have produced another superb race, another superb community effort right down the field. We're proud of you. Thank you very much for being here. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Bye.